Warning. If your route passes through No Sharon Venice Village, hear friendly advice from me. Never go to that ghost lagoon after sunset, because that is not just a place of entertainment. That is the border of our world and theirs. Years ago, long before the colorful villas filled the North Mariam, now the wise old woman of the village was a young woman from Vanish in Tosa days in the evenings. Mariam and the other women of the village, oblivious to everything, would take their children and go to the Lake of the Hornbeam. In the middle of the water, the dried trunks of trees protruded. If you looked closely, they looked like the skeletons of people who had drowned centuries ago and now stretched their arms towards the sky. The children laughed next to their mothers, and for fun they would compete to see who could throw the stone into the water. They would throw the stones, and the waves would spread and hit the dried trunks. The first warning. One evening, Mariam went to the lake to get water. The air had taken on the eerie atmosphere of twilight. The fog, like a cold white blanket, slowly rose from the surface of the water and crept among the trees. It was absolute silence. Even the crickets had stopped. As Mariam walked briskly to get home as soon as possible, she heard a sound, something like a snoring. She stopped. The sound was coming from the middle of the lake. Suddenly, a shadow separated from the thick fog. At first she thought it was a tree trunk, but the shadow moved. Its height and stature were unnatural, much taller than a normal person. Its body was thin and stretched, as if its skin had been stretched over its bones. Its skin was a dead gray, like a tombstone. But most frightening of all were the two things on its head. Long, thin horns that bent to either side like dry branches. Its eyes were shiny yellow and sparkled in the darkness like a cat's, but its gaze was full of anger. Mariam fell at the creature's feet. They were not human feet. Its tongue was tied in fear. She wanted to scream, but the sound was choked in her throat. The creature took a few steps forward on the water. Yes, it was walking on water, in a voice that seemed to come from the bottom of a well. A hoarse voice. She said to Mariam, "Tell your children not to throw stones anymore." Mariam was just shaking. The creature tilted her head and continued angrily, "Every time you throw a stone, it hits my child. He's under the water there, in pain. They can't hear us, but now you can. So go tell them that if a stone falls into the water again, a painful end awaits them." Creature said, not finishing his sentence. He just stared into Mariam's eyes. Then, like smoke in the air, he dissolved into mist and was gone. Mariam didn't understand how she had reached the village. Her face was pale. Right there, she shouted an order to the children. "From today on, no one do here. No one has the right to go to the lake." A few nights later, the men of the village swore that they had seen a long shadow that circled the village but did not come closer. It was just watching. Events of the years that followed. Years passed. Mariam grew old and became Mariam's grandmother. The fear of the villagers gradually faded, but they still had a respect mixed with terror for that lake. Other things happened during these years. The old fishermen said that some nights, small green and blue lights floated on the water. They called these lost eyes, the souls of those trapped in the lagoon and looking for a way out. There was also the story of the son of Meshramat, the young shepherd of 10. He said that one day he saw a woman dressed in black, sitting by the water and crying. The woman had returned, but her face was blank. Her face was flat. Then, quietly and without stirring the water, she had gone into the lake. The shepherd never said moment, there was the sound of branches breaking. She raised her head. It was the same creature, but this time, she wasn't alone. Behind her, in the fog, dozens of other pairs of yellow eyes were watching. Baby Mariam said, crying, "That was a child. He didn't know. By God, he didn't know." The creature shook its head. This time, his voice echoed not in baby Mariam's ear, but in her head. "Stone for stone, pain for pain. His mother beat my child. Now we beat her child. Now we are helpless. Take him." The elf sank into the water and the fog thickened. Eunice regained consciousness, but for months he could not speak. They were still, baby Maria would say. Midnights, Eunice talks to someone in his sleep, in a language that no one understands. His voice would change in his sleep, becoming thick and scratchy. The people of Anash say that Eunice left a part of his soul in that lagoon. Even now, when the wind blows from Lake Mamar, the old-timers lower their heads and quickly pass by. They know that those horned elves are still there, under the fog and among the dried trunks, and they are waiting for someone to make a mistake and throw another stone to disturb their child's peace. That ominous shadow channel companions, thank you for your support. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please like the story and subscribe to the channel to hear the next story. I will try harder to get the stories to satisfy your loved ones. Would you like me to collect real scary stories from the locals around me and share them with you? Or should I use the stories available on the internet? Please leave your opinion about this in the comments. Thank you until the next video.